Hello, my name is John, and today we'll be reading Soros versus America by Rebecca Hagelin on Townhall, posted February 16th, 2018. Rebecca Hagelin is a public speaker on the family and culture and the author of a new book coming out just in time for Mother's Day, 30 Ways in 30 Days to Strengthen Your Family. Rebecca has served as vice president of the Heritage Foundation. George Soros and his cronies in the media were certain that Hillary Clinton was going to be president. They just knew that their social justice movement here at home and the undermining of the United States on the world stage that they were achieving under Barak Obama would continue under another President Clinton. But freedom-loving Americans had a different idea, and they delivered a bold, decisive leader who has the guts to stand up to the radical left and put an end to America's decline. President Donald Trump is proving over and over again that he has the international experience, courage, and edgy personality it takes to stop the socialist globalist efforts to turn America into the world's dumping ground. Make no mistake, George Soros and his minions will do everything in their power to undermine President Trump and conservative elected officials. Soros loves establishment and the deep state because he is one of them. He was a chairman of the Ready for Hillary PAC and is a longtime comrade of both Clintons. Mr. Soros funded resistance against Mr. Trump before the election. Remember the Trump Chicago rally that had to be canceled due to violent protests in the streets? And he continues to do so across the country. Soros money has been traced to the resist movement, including funding to disrupt the presidential inauguration itself. Perhaps Americans should consider anew the definitions of sedition and treason. But with every Soros-sponsored ranting feminist march and radical protest designed to incite racial divides, attentive Americans are beginning to realize that the leftists are so intent on gaining power that they are even willing to tear our nation apart and pit neighbor against neighbor. Soros also spends millions to advance his open borders and illegal migration in order to achieve a permanent progressive majority. Of course, this means promoting amnesty, giving non-citizens the right to vote, and doing away with voter verification. Soros knows that hard-working, freedom-loving Americans want to protect our country and individual freedom. His goal is to bring in as many people from the outside as possible and make them dependent on our government. So they will always be willing to cast their votes for liberal and leftist politicians who care more about power than they do about helping people become independent. For confusing optics and sound bites, Soros even rents leftist ministers like Sojourners founder Reverend Jim Wallace and more. Listen carefully as they use words like progress, justice, fairness, fact-checkers, faith, and democracy in clever linguistic twists. Soros and other leftists specialize in weaponizing gender, race, and economic class. They become experts at staging protests and inciting riots because they know that capturing images of such street theater is equivalent to a porn addiction for their leftist cohorts in the media. But Americans are waking to these fertile fallacies and warmed over Marxist tactics. Kelly Kohlberg, author and co-founder of the American Association of Evangelicals, a group of faith leaders who are sharing the timeless gospel and confronting opposition the church and nation maintains. Genuine disagreements grievance, and protest are aspects of free speech and assembly, for which we're thankful. But the growing industry of paid activists and media to purposefully, systematically deceive the American people is unjust, unloving, and wicked. I beg news reporters and journalists to take the time to discover the money behind the optics and events that shape our daily news. She's right, but don't wait for the professional journalists to tell you what's really going on. We live in a time of citizen journalism, where we have access to tools to help expose the truth and cut through the mass propaganda the media is all too eager to feed us from the Soros table of plenty. The Soros folks try to discredit anyone who shines a light on their sordid activities, but the money trail is evident for all who care to follow it. Although tracing Soros' money is something of a shell game, it isn't that difficult. Simply Google, download, and read the IRS 990 forms of his $20 billion Open Society Foundation. The National Immigration Forum, Soros is the largest donor, followed by Ford and Rockefeller and the Tides Foundation for a start. A 5-minute video, Rent a Riot, Soros Assault on Trump and America, helps connect the dots. You can find it on YouTube. Share it with your friends and anyone who shakes their heads in dismay at the endless displays of disruption across the country. Although we certainly live in a time of real political differences, it's really just a handful of powerful, rich leftists that are doing their best to cause upheaval. Visit sites where there are copies of legal documents and filings that reveal the truth. 3 great resources are discoverthenetworks.org, influencewatch.org, and americanevangelicals.com. The most powerful motto in the history of nations is ours, E pluribus unum. It means from many one, and it brilliantly illustrates how America is a land of diverse people who bind together in support of freedom. Don't sit by and watch as the left dissects us. This video is a production of the School of the White Crane. My name is John Brooker, and you could reach me through commentary on this video or through my Gmail listed here. Please share this video with family and friends and on social media. May God richly bless you.